Alright, guys, so I have not released a lot of just Miro breakdowns of how my business runs, how my business scales, how I scale all of client fulfillment, and how I scale all of these clients to $1 million a month and whatnot. A lot of people are coming on my Twitter and they're just being like, yo, who is this? Which gives me some happiness because it's like, I produce a bit of mysteriousness in the space a bit. But yeah, we've gotten some ridiculous results for clients and we have some huge names in the space. And I guess you could say like the general projection was, and if you don't know my business, I partner up with a lot of people who run coaching businesses. I work with a lot of 9-figure prop firms. It's not just that anymore. I work with a lot of info coaching businesses, kind of high ticket businesses. We deploy sales teams. We have marketing systems in place, and we take a large portion of revenue share, equity, yada yada yada. And ever since that, I guess you could say I kind of blew up out of nowhere. I mean, we had 1 month where we had $240,000 with a client, 1 month where we had $150,000, and we kind of boosted up to $1.7 million. I made a good amount of money off of that. For example, these are some of the wires all in the same month: 45,000, 204,000, 143,000, all to my bank account. It's kind of ridiculous, I know. And if you think I'm capping, here's the $1.7 million that we made. That business is at now 2 point something million dollars. I'd have to check the leaderboards, but who's counting, right? But no, I really want to show you guys the process that we take for all of the clients. I've been holding this back for a little bit. A lot of people ask me about our process. I give out a lot of Loom videos in some of the coaching programs that I actually coach in and whatnot. And I give a lot of sauce away, but one of the things that I don't give is the actual process step by step for anybody that would be, looking to take on a few clients and actually scale them to $1 million months. When you're talking about $1 million months, you're talking about big operations. I'm talking about 30-person sales teams, 40-person, 50-person, some execs, you not even being all a part of the process. Like right now, for my business, I have a copywriter in place, I have a marketer, we're getting to like a CMO, and I'm still like out here kind of chilling, out here kind of doing my thing, out here really scaling these operations. And we've built some really sick systems in place, and I am not scared about giving them all away because I know the kind of entrepreneur that I am and the kind of business that I want to actually build. And I just want to show you guys a very good overview of kind of what we do. I'm not going to show another launch system. I'm not going to, because businesses go way past just the launch of a program. I've talked a lot in the past about the launch system, kind of like a whisper tease shout funnel that you can use to scale any program in the first 30 days. But what happens when you want to have longevity? What happens when you want to scale to $1 million months every single month and you want to get those 350K wires every single month? Like, it would be nice, right? Well, this is exactly how you go and do that. So let's say you're in a scenario right now where you're going and taking on a client, you're launching your program, and you want to aim for that $1 million month. The first thing you want to be prepped for before you even launch an offer is making sure your offer is good and making sure that people actually want your offer. There are offers right now that have such a good offer that don't even have a big audience, don't even have a big following, a big client base that prints millions of dollars a month because they have a good offer, right? This is the way that I actually want you to be thinking. So let's say this is you, right? And you're this little circle, right? Make you a bit bigger. And you have all these clients all in these buckets and whatnot that maybe want to buy from you. And you run like an Amazon FBA brand, and you kind of show what you do, you kind of don't. You show some income statements, you kind of don't. You show your SVJ, you show your lifestyle benefits. Maybe you have an Audi or something, I don't know. Maybe you have visual proof that you actually do what you say and you actually make money doing the business that you do. Or maybe you're a fitness guy. Okay, you have these little buckets. And then there's this big goal that you want to hit to make $1 million on launch. Okay, you want to make $1 million a month. Now you probably will stay at 50K a month on launch, and maybe you scale a trajectory to like 100K a month. But what if you want to scale to $1 million a month really, really fast, or even high 6 figures, but you just have no predictability in how it's going to scale. And then that after the launch, after those first bit of people buy, you've seen all of your friends that it slowly goes from this amount of people to this amount of people to this amount of people until the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it dries up and the whole entire team quits, and then it's just nothing, right? Well, this is not what you actually want. But a lot of people get stuck at this process because they don't know that after the first 30 days, your program usually drops off. After the first 30 days, you usually make 100K, 50K, 25K. It literally almost splits in half every single time, and it's horrible. In this, I'm going to show you exactly how to stop that. This is basically what I say. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact system I use to scale almost every business to $1 million a month, or they're getting there, right? I'm not going to say all of our offers are at $1 million per month in revenue, but whether you're running a coaching program, info product, or online consulting business, you'll basically just get the behind the scenes look at like a 10-phase system. It's not really in phases, but it's kind of like 10 steps of what we do to scale every single one, and how I actually deploy all of those steps and make sure that we're following the plan every single time. And then we've used to generate over $50 million respectively in revenue for other clients. You'll see how we structure irresistible high ticket offers, famous momentum without fame. You'll see what I'm talking about, how you can continuously have momentum because that's the only thing you need in this game, especially on social media, and build wait lists every single time full of qualified buyers before the offer even drops. And then if you want to see wires behind scalable online growth, this is the full blueprint, right? And then if you want to see those 6-figure wires hit your account, all right, sweet. So had to switch spots because it's getting cold, it'd be getting hot here outside in Florida. But yeah, so the first phase is the launch. So whenever you're going over a launch or like launching a program, you need to understand that there needs to be a certain level of hype and a certain level of understanding before you ever even think about launching a product. I've had to go with this with so many of my Done With You clients that they don't understand. And the best way that I can explain it is the more that you can give somebody exactly what they want or what you think they want, essentially, or teach them that this is actually what they want, you can shorten the sales process and you can make it so much faster and you can make so much money shorter, essentially. So, for example, I've launched a couple of easier launches because it was just easy to show them. But after, let's say like the launch is easy and you still don't sell them like what they want, essentially, they will afterwards go and not buy. And you won't get new buyers and you'll just make it too easy. So it's like a catch-22. Nothing is ever extremely easy, right? So for example, the offer that we did the $1.7 million with, even though it was like a 30-day launch, for example, this was all of the stories that we did for the 30 days. So first off, we had a poll go out. How long have you been trading for? I've some of the massive launches, and you guys have all seen the stories that we launched, but everyone thinks that it ends here. It really doesn't end here. And I can show you guys some of the email contents that we were sending as well. You can see that we were prepping people like it was before. So the way that I always like to explain it is even when something is warm, even when an audience is warm, still have an angle where you can sell it where it's cold to still show people like, okay, this is the guy, to validate it. Think about like a girl who always has to be validated, that this is the guy, yeah, this is the guy, yeah, this is the guy, this is why I bought from him. This is why people like Iman have so much resonance, because when you were watching when you were 16 and you still see him pumping out certain videos, for example, like yes, you see him surprising my mom with a $4 million dream house, but I still see him pumping out these 17 money lessons and, you're not behind, and still showing us why he's still relative. And the things that he was posting like 2 years ago, this shows me like, okay, Iman's still on that grind. Iman still has that same level of humbleness that I want to go and buy from him. And that sounds like a crazy concept. You're like, okay, no way that works in marketing. It really does work. So for example, even like Q and a lot of the traders, what they do is they actually make a lot of money, and then they go down and they don't continue with the same place that got them there. For example, this video right here, all of the proof that went and got us the $1 million month, the $1.7 million, was the proof that he actually knew what he was talking about. I mean, he made $500,000 in the trade. I see a lot of traders just like fall off. Well, who's making the most amount of money with trading right now? With trading mentorships, it's TJR and some other guys, like 50K views on a trade where he's, just scalping a $21,000 trade. And then every single day, $29,000. And even though like some traders can't always do that, you can still show proof that you're active and in the game, and they know you from that. So the fact that people see TJR still in the motion, like he's broke, like he's in the trenches and whatnot. Think about that. Like, you're still in the trenches. This is why people like Lil Baby, bro, because he still talks about being in the trenches to this day. He still talks about coming out of his hood and bringing it back to his hood. Crazy example, I know, but it is so true. You can never act bigger than you really are. You always have to go to that day one. Same thing with fucking Alex Becker. I mean, this is probably the biggest one. I mean, Alex Becker, if you know him, let me just go to his channel. I watched this video today. And this guy is worth like $300 million, maybe like $200 million. And he's still posting this, do this in your 20s and you'll be rich by 30. How I make these monies with Facebook ads. I explain my $52,000 a day AI video. He's still posting videos about crypto, and this is the same exact scenario. I mean, why do you think people go back to their old garages? I mean, 5 years ago, you could see he's in a similar place, and then he's got the Lambo in his garage because that's what people really know him as. Bro, I've had so many clients where they maybe hit like 200K a month, and you know they come to us later and they're like, okay, I want to get that motion back up, but they want to do it without the grind work that they used to have to do. It never works, bro. It never works. Like, even me saying that to myself, I'm like, okay, that makes so much sense, because 3 months ago I really didn't understand that. So when you're doing the launch, pair it with some momentum that you have. One of the things that we did for one of my clients, I hate name dropping on here, but it was just such a good idea, is Q hasn't live traded for a while. So what we did to build up the momentum for the launch up here is we did 2 live trading sessions live on YouTube, slapping the markets, top 4 assets in the markets. We try to give as much value as possible. And luckily for us, when we did this, we were able to show some proof. So you see these emails where it says, she made $12,590 from one YouTube video. Even though the click rate, don't focus on that because it wasn't a clickable link. Most of the people have already got in the wait list at that point. It went crazy. So you can see his stuff jumped from a 15% open rate to a 60% open rate. And some of these open rates are trash because, we were trying to do things with a dead email list that he had hundreds of thousands of emails on. And it was just such a weird thing. But old email list, things happen, yada, yada, yada. And then we were basically saying, my new 101 exclusive March cohort for traders is launching soon. How to change your life during this bull run. There's 3 things that you have to sell people on when you're going into a launch. So let's say you have all these things done, and I just want to show you what I mean by done. So the first thing that you have to do, like I said, is market analysis and positioning. And the way to do that is you have to identify the market sophistication levels. And this is like super boring, but it's the number one thing that makes me write. Like, you don't want to go and write a 45-minute VSL and then have to go and write it into a 5-minute VSL or vice versa. You don't want to have to go and redo those things. I'd rather set up a VSL that's just fucking killing it, making us millions of dollars, and then as a marketer, I really don't have to do anything. The whole entire team works like the way. Like, if you want to run a dream agency, if you want to run a dream coaching business, that's what it is. You understand your audience to a T, and then the product just sells itself. I mean, why can't coaching businesses just make that easy? Because it can be that easy. So are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Meaning, highlight why your solution is superior and build trust with proof. And then they may be solution aware, meaning they know what your solution is, but you have to highlight it with proof. So that means I'll actually show you how I write my VSLs and kind of the length of it. Okay, so for example, I have all my copywriters, like we just wrote a sick VSL using this. This is how I know this works, because there's this offer that we're running right now. All right, so I just want to show you guys this, like, a live example of a VSL that was really working. So for example, a live example of this is we created this VSL. Now this VSL is from a guy who has around 23K on Instagram, but his brand is not super tapped in. It's not built for scale into $1 million a month right away. And it's because he posts a lot, but he doesn't post a lot about actually what he does and the downside of it and the upsides of it and the benefits of it and selling people on the business model. Bro, if they're not selling people on the business model and their strategy, you cannot just sell off a hype. You cannot just sell off of Lambos, off of Bugattis and whatnot. It doesn't work, right? So what we did is we made a 35-minute VSL. And what my operator tried to do underneath me for this video is he tried to make it a 10-minute VSL first, and I tried to tell him it doesn't work, because what does Ryan have to do? What Ryan has to do is he has to convince people on a lot more things, because his audience is like problem aware. And the problem is they know that they have to make money, but they don't know how. They don't know the best vision. They don't know the best version. They don't know how people like Ryan do it. And then they have to sell him on Ryan himself. So a lot of like the Instagram content helps with that. A lot of like, I see Ryan making money. That's probably why they followed and whatnot. Well, once you get them in their funnel, very top of funnel, you have to sell them on the idea. And so the idea is Amazon. Then you have to sell them on how easy it is, these little micro sales. And this goes into it. I mean, Ryan even goes into him going into his emails, his inventory, his offer, his suppliers, everything, bro. He like breaks it down. And nothing else matters when it comes to this, because he's showing them how easy it is, and we just kind of modeled a very successful VSL. So if you understand that, okay, my audience is problem aware, like they just know that they need to make money, it needs to be very long. I kind of showed this little template right here, but I give this to all my copywriters, and what they need to do is they need to answer these things. So what's the goal first? What's the primary audience? What's their awareness levels? If they're completely unaware, meaning that like you have no followers, you have no brand, most people are problem aware, then I don't know. Just make it the same as problem aware. Make it like 15 to 30 minutes. So this is kind of what we do. So the length of the VSL, usually when they're problem aware, which is like the top of the food chain, bro, the top of the funnel, is you need to make the VSL long, and bro, you need to explain it. So for example, if you kind of know who I am and you kind of like understand what I do, you see that I make a lot of money, you know that you want to make a lot of money, bro, I'm going to make my VSL and I'm going to make everything showing you how this is the easiest business model to get into. It's easy for me, but when you're working with clients or working with other coaching businesses, or both of you guys are just very like not smart people, this gets hard. So be smart about this, bro. Understand your people. And then once you do this, you can sell forever. So it's like a catch 22 essentially. And then the USP. So the USP, you need to have a USP in place. This is called a class of one or category of one offer. So I a lot of you guys know these things, like what you're supposed to know, what you're, and I'm gonna show you how I collect data for all my offers. But you're supposed to know these things. So obviously, like, you guys have watched a bunch of videos on offer creation probably since you know your offers. But there's some things that, I'm not going to go through all of these. There's some things that you guys should know, though. Like, what part of your story makes them feel like you're just a few steps ahead, right? Why would they trust you more than others in their space? And then what's the emotional reason they'd want you to win, essentially? These three things are the most important. So, like, for example, what part of your story makes them feel like you're just a few steps ahead? For me, like, when people go and buy my licensing program, I get a lot of people. Most people are at $50K a month. Those $50K a month people come to me, or even $30K a month, and they see the $1.7 million per month on my side, which equated to about like $300K, $250K. Why would they trust you more than others in the space? Well, Q showed the video of him actually transparently trading. TJR shows the video of him actually transparently trading. He's one of the top in the space when it comes to that. That's why he'll always make more money. This is why they trust me. For me, I show way more proof and way more actual live sauce about how we go about this. And then what's the emotional reason they want you to win? They'd want to win. If you know that most traders really just want to take care of their family, or most people want to just get into a business that allows them to travel, like, go hard on that, bro. Really do. So one of the things that we do whenever we launch a wait list is I add hella questions to the wait list. I don't even care about getting the most amount of people on the wait list because I don't want the most amount of people. So you're going to see that on your guys' wait list when you launch it, let's say we launch this on the story, so just showing you an example of when we launched this on the story. So, which one was it? You're going to see that we launched this here. So we were leading up to it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Do you have a trade? Like, bro, I go hard. Wait till y'all see my email stack. And then we're still mentioning the date. This is why we did so much bread, because like we just stayed consistent launching the date. This looks like a movie trailer, bro. Like look at all the cinematic photos of Q. Look at all the proof that he's making money trading still. This is our effect of like trying to build back up momentum that Q's actually that guy still. If you think about it in terms like that, like okay, not like, oh, how can I convince these people? Oh, how can I do this, that, and third? Bro, show your brand why you're the fucking man. Show your brand why you're the best in the space. Like, Q is the fucking man because it's so inevitable that he makes $100,000 per trading in a day, right? That he made $500K. That he really trades out here, and he doesn't even have to say anything against like the other traders out here. You know what I'm saying? So with this, March 25th, I'm going to be launching the biggest Wall Street Academy 1-to-1 cohort yet. Yada, yada, yada. You can read that, but then we launch the wait list, and then we show more proof, and then for those days, we're just kind of showing the wait list. Now, during the wait list, like I've explained, you need to go and you need to indoctrinate a lot of people. And by indoctrinating, it's not always a bad thing, but during this, you're going to see that, we're consistently showing proof, and we're consistently showing urgency, and we're consistently showing value. So one of the things that we did is once they get in the wait list and once we actually go and gather all of this information, which let me go over this real quick. So basically, you're going to see that most people just get in the wait list, they just give email, name, and phone number, and if you're doing this and you have a large wait list, you're actually doing a huge disadvantage, because with AI now and all the things that we use with AI, I'm telling you, I do 90% of my writing for all of my offers. You'd be surprised that like AI makes us millions of dollars. Like I invested probably like $500 in Poppy, like $49 a month in ChatGPT. This is why we asked this. So current experience, and by the way, just to show you guys the insights on this. This is like why so many people dropped off, but it's fine with us. So 14,000 views, only 4,000 submission, only a 50% completion rate. I'm cool with that because I want data. I want data submission. You know what I mean? I'm giving out free access to motivated traders before the launch. Yes, I'll answer to get value. What's your current experience as a trader? What's your current monthly income? You're like, you ask current monthly income on a wait list? Yeah, I do. describe the motivations currently driving you to make money, you're going to see that we just basically get a medium of this, and we tell people that, yo, like, please answer this in depth of 1 to 2 sentences. And then I tell ChatGPT that all the ones that have like 2 sentences plus, just go and keep those, and add it to the CSV. And I'm going to show you how to add it to the CSV. Is there anything else you'd like me to know? Basically, what I go and do is I go and download all of these responses, and I'll go and plug them in. Well, I actually just take this doc that I have. It's called the Offer Creation Framework, and I basically go and just copy all of this. I go to ChatGPT now, and here's the thing that you need to do with ChatGPT. You may look at these projects, and you may look at a lot of the things that you have that is bad and like is new, and you're not looking at it correctly. I didn't say that right, but like you're looking at ChatGPT and you're like, what are these projects? Bro, you need to be using them. You need to be using them every single day, bro. What I do is, for a lot of my offers, and some of them I use Claude as well, I use like Claude projects and whatnot, is, let's say this. So I basically give it this CSV, and I tell it, so I say, give me a complete offer and origin story based on Solomon's offer. Tailor his story to fit the solution of the most common problem of the CSV from the waitlist I gave you. And then you paste the waitlist in here, but what you want to do is you actually want to have a system for giving yourself results, or like whether you have a coaching business or an operating business, if your client they need to understand the offer better, they need to explain the offer better. I'm going to show you the best way to do that real quick. So you need to have something like a voice memo research doc, and if you have your own offer, literally go take this doc, film yourself, and record a video of you explaining step by step, 1 by 20, step 1 to step 20, explaining your offer like someone's a third grader and they can't understand it, and then basically go to ChatGPT, put the transcript in here, get it from like Premiere Pro or something, and basically tell it this prompt, make it 8,000 characters, full awareness levels from Eugene Schwartz, or you could say like understanding of Eugene Schwartz awareness levels. Make it from a direct response selling proposition and benefit focused stance. And then you basically, what you do is you take that transcript, you plug it in here, and then you plug in the CSV. Now, if you want to get the CSV from the issues, you say, give me the most, and I'm going to show you guys doing this live. I always got to text to ChatGPT with a voice note. So like when you say this, give me the most common problems when it comes to this CSV that most people are struggling with. This is a waitlist for a new program that we're launching, and I like to give ChatGPT as much context as possible. So I'll say, we are going to use this as our USP. And then you go and grab the CSV. So ours is right here. Boom, you go and put this in here, and then it will actually show. And then what you basically do after that is it will give you the most common problems. The prompt that I put in after, the 8,000 characters, so I'm going to be like, give me Solomon's 8,000 character complete offer. And then they know. And once you have 8,000 characters, and the reason I do 8,000 characters is because you want to put it in these instructions. So you're going to see in this instructions, it's a list of me explaining the program solving for the 5 core problems, me explaining in paragraph form, like everything, step 1, step 2, step 10. And it really understands also the origin story. It's 8,000 characters. ChatGPT fucking knows, and then it learns. So once you have that, and once you have your USP, you start marketing, and you start doing a 15 to 30 day launch sequence. I basically explain the whole thing in this video on my YouTube channel as well. So this is a step-by-step process right here of me making 250K in 30 days with Instagram stories. Honestly, on a shit audience as well. Like, it wasn't even the best. That offer, like, we're no longer working with them because they're just very incompliant. Like, they just don't listen to us. But yeah, and then once you're done with that, you put everyone in a Telegram channel or a broadcast channel for the waitlist. I'm honestly going to try out more broadcast channels. You give the Typeform CSV to ChatGPT. You're going to see like this. So for some of these offers, like we launched them months and months ago, and now we're just scaling them up. I don't ever touch the instructions based on this anymore. Like, ChatGPT just learns, Claude learns, This is all you need to write from a ChatGPT standpoint. As far as like Poppy, I use Poppy as well now, and so does my copywriters. My copywriter only uses Poppy. That's why I can, get away with, not even get away, but you don't have to pay that much for a copywriter. Like I pay mine around 4 to 5K. It's getting up to that 6K range because we have some, deals coming up. But he can write mass for most of my clients. It's so efficient by using Poppy. So for example, my copywriter writes for over 5 to 6 of different of my offers. Well, that's because we're allowed to use this as well. So one of the things that I do with Poppy AI is I think you can get Poppy for like $300 for like the first year. Is, bro, look. I give them not only Cam's offers. You can see this is the 8,000 offer. This is the 8,000 character offer I was talking about. I give them examples of other offer explanations so they understand what the format is. Along with his YouTube videos, his Instagram, his USP, they should never not be. Alright, so the number one thing you have to have, though, is you have to have limited availability, bro. Limited availability, okay? If you have real scarcity, you can sell over the program. If you don't, double down on urgency marketing, and then you'll be good, okay? So phase 2. I want to go into phase 2. So what happens when, you made, and just let me show you again, $1.7 million in 30 days. We did it with this. 0 to 80K first month, 50K first month, a lot of different offers. I don't know why those are blank. Oh, these are right here. 0 to 100K, 10 to 200K the first month, Anthony. $2 million. Yeah, did a lot. If you want to get wires like this is what I'm saying. Keep watching, bro. Keep watching. I know you want wires like this, okay? So these are the strategies that we usually run them to. So it's either to, and it's not like, it's to these funnels, but it's not limited to them. We'll run it straight to a VSL, or run into low ticket, or run into a free training. And these three things work very well. This is a switched up VSL, so these will always go back to the setter and whatnot. But these work extremely well. So usually with the free training, what we'll do is we'll run like a WAP sequence course where when they get done with like the 5-day course or the 10-step course, they'll get prompted to book a call, and then they'll be tagged, and the setter will just hammer them essentially. The setter will go crazy on them. So the free training will go back down to the setter, and then they'll get on a call, and the outcomes are usually like either follow-up, no-show, 1, and then call closed based on like the high ticket. So it's usually like a 7,500 to 10K program. Thing is, you need to make your free trainings well, and you need to actually set up a mini launch sequence in between there. So I'm not going to give you guys like the main SOP for like launching a free course. Psych, yes I am. It's basically very similar to the launch process. So if you guys just want to read through this, but I give you guys all the launch emails and like the sequences. It's a lot of text though, bro. It's a lot of text. So if you can make your free course seem like another movie trailer, bro, this is when you're winning. This is when you're winning. Like, yo, my launch course, it finally launched. It finally launched. Like the free training finally launched. That's how you go crazy with it, right? So, yeah. And then when they go to the setter and then they go to the call, some of these leads are the most warm leads that you've ever bought. And same thing with these. I'd say like low ticket, and Ryan explains this as well. Like he says the same thing. If you go and look at his low ticket video, Ryan's a fucking G. Shout out Ryan for having me on. Having low ticket, go to a setter and then go to a call. Even Ryan says this. Like it is the warmest leads that you'll ever get in your life, essentially. Right? And then you won, then you close them. So I'm going to show you guys just some things that we're doing, just very simple, and not very simple at the same time, but you need to, like, if you own a coaching business, you need to go crazy with this, and you need to be, you need to have the end goal in mind. So bro, if you actually wanted to scale to like 500K per month or $1 million a month with any business, what would you realistically do? You'd keep traffic coming in, you keep giving people a reason to buy, and you keep selling new people. A lot of y'all don't know how to just keep selling new people. That's the issue that you guys have. So the thing that we do is we do weekly case studies. So like case studies as far as like new people coming in, you don't want to use the same old case studies all the time. It just makes your program look like a fraud. Monthly free trainings. Free trainings can be the same exact one, but you can add stuff in there. And once you add one new promo, like I said, you can overhype it. And then an evergreen like kind of nurture engine. That's basically like a step-by-step set of like email sequences. Like we've had the same welcome sequences for some of our offers for the longest time, bro. For the longest time. Like when people go and book calls with us or when they go and opt in, they'll get like 5+ emails per day. It says 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours for like 12 days straight. And they're just nurtured. They're so nurtured. Set them up to be nurtured for 30 days and keep them going. And then, track the click rate on them. And if it's like below 1.5%, if it's below 2%, change up the emails based on like the new data that you get from like ChatGPT, stuff like that, and just ask ChatGPT how to do it. A lot of people like say these numbers but don't actually show you guys how to do it. If you go and you put all of your emails in a Google Doc and you give it to ChatGPT, you're like, yo, these are the main problems I'm dealing with. This is like all the problems that you can give them the CSV of your recent applications, and then you can give them the transcript of your sales calls. This is some deep ChatGPT shit, bro. This is like the data. And then you basically just give them the emails and give them what people are saying about the emails. Maybe if you have those, which a lot of people don't, it's fine, and you'll be good. And you can even go as far as giving the transcript from like your sales meeting and explaining what the bottlenecks are. And then the next thing, so you want to have an authority content ecosystem. So I recently did a couple of reels that blew my account up in a way. And when I say blew my account up, I mean I gained like 3,000 followers, good enough for me. But I also was followed by top guys like Ty Lopez, Tuzer, a lot of guys, like pretty much every big guy in the info space reached out to me from this video. And it was what I learned being number one on WAP and making $100,000 a day. And then you want to have some things showing that you actually make money. Mason does this very well by showing how AI is going to make me $500,000 this year. And then I actually do this well as well by saying how I scaled a coaching program to $1 million in 30 days. Q is basically showing this well by he basically predicted this 800-point crash. We do live trading sessions for him now. And TJR does this very well by just showing that he's in the action. So if you can consistently show that you're in the action, people don't want to think that you're away from the action, essentially, if that makes sense. This video printed for me, and I'm always looking for new ways to create more iterations of this. Bro, as long as you keep the authority content system up, why do you think people buy so many cars so many times, and they churn through cars and they sell them and then they buy them again, stuff like that? And then you need to just have retention driven value loops. So surprise value inside your program, meaning like give stuff away from your program. You constantly have to be at the edge of your seat to do this. Don't just try to be famous, bro. These videos got me more emotion than some of these guys who get 1 million plus views on a reel that doesn't make sense. Don't just try to be famous. Don't just try to be like fucking Brez, because it doesn't work for every offer. If you try to do that, your offer will honestly just burn out, and it will, I mean, bro, it's just burn out. All right, and then the next thing. So have a rolling waitlist strategy, meaning like if you can put people on a waitlist every 3 months for something new, bro, you're going crazy. If you can give them a reason to like fill up the waitlist again, you're going crazy, right? And then have a real scarcity, like I said. This is the last thing that I'll say, and this is very advanced, but this is what people like above the info space do. They turn their whole entire business not only into a licensing system, but case study expansion licensing system. So like they turn their top clients into licensing partners, feature their results in their funnel, and expand your like footprint without more fulfillment. So one example of how people do this is Mason and Ben, my boy Ben Bader, Cardinal Mason, had this offer where Ben was basically inside Cardinal Mason's Copy MBA, and he made a whole VSL about this, and they sell for it. Not like a Ponzi scheme, but sort of like it. You can do one that way, or you can just have people sell for you and get commission and have your top students be a part of it. They usually sell the best, right? That's how. Now, phase 3 is scaling mastery. So these are some of the top ad strategies that are working for us right now. They're all content-based ad strategies, and I got a lot of this from Jeremy Haynes. I'm part of his program. But one of the things that we do when your content is kind of dying is you want to get more eyeballs on this niche authority content, high value niche authority content. So this is things like putting ads on a traffic objective, retargeting them with conversion-based carousel ads, and then conversion-based dynamic ads. This is Jeremy Haynes' model. And then retargeting them with the engagement objective, all moving them back to like a webinar, a VSL, yada, yada, yada. And then you'll have things like the spotlight ad strategy where like there's a conversion ad, they lead to a VSL. What happens if they don't convert? Well, they get retargeted. And if they don't convert on that, then they will like hit the content retargeting, and then you retarget those people who watch like 50% of a very high value niche video. Like, bro, what I should be doing on this offer, if when I'm ready to scale this for like cold traffic, is I'm gonna run this offer. Whoever watched 50% of this video, and you can't do it on this video because it's not actually explaining anything, is I'm going to retarget those people with conversion ads, go back to like the VSL, and then fucking scale it, essentially, if that makes sense. The other thing that we do, and this is Jeremy Haynes', like I said again, is the Hydra strategy. So you run some like lead form ads, you run some like low barrier to entry lead form ads, and then you just have a big team of dialers and whatnot dialing these people, and you're scaling that way. So do you see if like you can have like a 1% ad strategy like that, and you can scale on autopilot paired with your content? You can scale to $500K to $1 million a month. we were getting some results like this. So like this is crazy. Some of the cost per engagement on us, which is like cost per like through plays, which is I think it's 3 seconds, 25%, either one of those. Landing page views were like $1 sometimes, and then our leads were like $8 on like a 10 to 15K product. It's ridiculous, bro. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed a lot of this stuff. I hope you guys got a lot of interest from this. But go from phase one. You can relaunch a program at any time, but just understand what it takes to get there. There's a reason why gurus in the space still talk about how much money they make. There's a reason why people still talk about their old ways when it comes to scaling businesses, because they don't want to go back to not being known or being outwashed and not knowing the current trends and not knowing what is happening, because they want to scale to $500,000 a month. This is the main thing I've learned scaling multiple offers to $1 million a month. If you want the same systems and the licensing systems that I've used to scale all of these offers, book a call with me below and we can talk about that. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I put a lot of stuff in here, and I'll send out the SOPs to anybody who asks me on Instagram. So peace, guys. Appreciate y'all watching this video, and I'll